Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Associated with LeBron James, but do you agree, Paul?
I think, in the regular season, LeBron coasted here and there on the defensive end, but you're not going to go out there seeking out LeBron to try to expose him in the playoff game. I mean, he's not, even at the age of 40, he's not chopped liver on defense. He actually puts in the effort when they need it. Now, who you are going to expose more so is Luka, because they've done it before, but I don't see teams really going after LeBron. LeBron, he's going to be matched up probably against a four-man who he can help and roam off of. And if you're a team out here trying to get LeBron and pick and roll to isolate him, I mean, think about this. Who in the Western Conference are you trying to expose him with outside? If it's not nobody named Curry or Ant-Man or Joker, then, he can kind of hang with the rest of these guys, so I don't really see it happening.
I don't want to see him messing with Ant. I don't want to see him messing with SGA either.
That's going to mainly probably be a long distance three, and he ain't going to blow by him because he can still play catch.
And then the one thing, though, this is the one thing I learned about playing against LeBron. Like, he gets away with fouls. He never fouls out.
First of all, Keyshawn Johnson and Michael Irvin, not the two people you want to see talking about a playoff series for the NBA. Like, that's not something I want to see. Speak live. That's probably why I don't watch this show. They're talking about things they don't need to be talking about.
So, like, you can attack him, say he swipe down, hit your arm a little bit. They're not calling that.
Yeah.
He's going to get away with a lot of that. He never fouls out. So, I'm not one to seek out trying to get LeBron exposed out there, because you're going to end up not playing your game plan, and then you're going to take you out the game.
This, first of all, is coming from an anonymous scout, so you already know how we feel about the anonymous scout. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to get
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, anywhere, somebody who used to have a job.
Yeah.
But in the end, I'm not betting on somebody trying to expose LeBron, because what's exposing him? The fact that he doesn't get over on help, he didn't slide, you switched on him in a bad situation. Okay, you got to switch on Joker, and all Joker gonna do is a mini hook. That's not exposing everybody when it's a bad situation. Everybody in the NBA give up buckets.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Even the ones on the all-defensive team have gone up and given up buckets. Now, you're talking about expose. Expose mean that a Luka situation where now all of a sudden it's ISO ball one-on-one and everybody just clear out the way. Move, I got this. They not getting ready.
They will try to expose Luka.
Right. Yeah, they're not going to do that to LeBron.
Right. Because it's not like LeBron can't play defense. We've seen LeBron play great defense over his years, so that's not the case.
Bron gonna play defense when it matter.
Having the energy.
He gonna lock in on defense when it matter.
My whole thought when I hear this is like, okay, and some of this is what Paul talked about because of the Luka stuff, but they're only seeing it on the one end. Oh, LeBron and Luka on that end is going to really hurt LeBron. But they don't see the other end where Luka is going to be bringing this ball up early in the game. He's going to be able to handle the game and allow LeBron to conserve his energy so he can make those layups late in the game. That's what we're more concerned about as Laker fans, me and Keyshawn over here. That's all we're worried about, is making sure LeBron can make.
Very surface level. Very surface level. All right. The issue that I have with the Lakers matchup with Minnesota is Rudy Gobert. All right. Now, we all seen the Dallas Mavericks series versus Minnesota last year. We know what happened. Luka went to work, put the kids to bed, and quite frankly made everybody question how Rudy Gobert is a 3-time, 4-time defensive player of the year. Now, I mean, we already seen that. My problem with the Minnesota Timberwolves this season is Karl Anthony Towns swapped for Julius Randle. The reason why that's so important is the spacing, spreading them out. Okay, you're going to allow the Lakers to cover a lot more ground because you have Rui, Vandy, LeBron. Okay, those three guys can guard anybody from 2s to 4s. You're not having a situation where Julius Randle is going to space the floor and be as much of a threat as Karl Anthony Towns is. They're going to be able to swarm defensively, especially with the way JJ Redick been coaching this year. I got him as coach of the year candidate leading. I got Ime Udoka right behind him. But the way the Lakers are playing defense with those three players on the court, you're going to be able to swarm. Obviously, you know, what is the offense going to look like? I think Rucci is improved. Rui is an improved three-point shooter. You got Austin Reeves back there with Luka in the backcourt going crazy, going off. Defensively, those three guys, I picked them over Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, and McDaniels. The problem coming in for defense is Ant-Man. Who's going to guard Ant-Man? Are you going to have a situation where Luka's getting switched on to him continuously time after time after time and Ant-Man's being able to get off? Are you going to put Austin Reeves in the chamber? Lock him up. I don't know if you want to lock him into that matchup with Ant-Man because he's outmatched, because Ant-Man can guard Austin Reeves. Ant-Man can guard Luka to some degree, but you're going to lose Ant-Man later in the game. So that's going to be an important thing when it comes down to the backcourt. I don't know if Mike Conley's going to give you a whole lot in this series. He's not. I think the matchups are going to be you probably want to put McDaniels on Luka. You want to put do you want to put Ant-Man on Reeves or Conley on Reeves? Preserve Ant-Man, put him on Rui. You have Vanderbilt. You probably match him up with Julius Randle. LeBron's going to roam around. He's probably going to be match up Rudy Gobert some, you know, simply just because Rudy Gobert is not going to pose a lot of threats offensively. He's going to be a defensive liability, and he's probably going to get checked out of the game at some point. Then they're going to bring in Naz Reid. That's going to be the X factor of that series, Naz Reid. Because the Lakers don't really have a guy off the bench that's going to give you Naz Reid production. I'm talking 15 to 20 points, 5 to 10 rebounds. I don't say 2 to 4 assists a night, but that type of production every single game, it's going to cause issues for the Lakers. But if LeBron James is allowed to roam, okay, not be man-to-man defense where he's got to guard Ant-Man a ton of possessions, occasionally switch on to him if need be, but if he's allowed to preserve energy, it's going to be a situation where, all right, look, Ant-Man, you're going to be going one-on-one with Austin Reeves or Luka Doncic, and late in game situations, LeBron might take that challenge on depending on how he's feeling, depending on the type of game he's having. I think the Lakers have a lot more. I think they have a lot more. Because from what I've seen from the Timberwolves this year, slow starts, no continuity offensively. Ant-Man's taking a lot of three-pointers. A lot more three-pointers than I would like. So I really don't see a situation where, I don't see a situation where the offense for the Minnesota Timberwolves is going to be able to outmatch the Lakers defense. And I don't see Minnesota's defense being able to match up well with the Lakers offense based on the amount of switches, the amount of matchup problems that Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and now Austin Reeves taking that next step that he's going to be able to pull out of that series. Like the title says, man, Ant-Man, Pac Man, Bruh Man, Lakers in 5. I got the Lakers in 5 games. That series, Ant-Man's going to have a game where he goes off for 40+. That's a given. Luka's going to have himself a game. Reeves is going to have himself a game. LeBron's going to have himself a game. And then the collective, once it's time to put the kids to bed, they're going to go home and they're going to blow them out by 20+. That's just how I see the series going. The 4-5 matchup in the West with the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are vulnerable, but has nothing to do with their coach being fired. Has nothing to do with Mike Malone being fired. The biggest thing for the Denver Nuggets right now is MPJ. Defensively, that man is atrocious. So you have several players that can go at him. You have James Harden. You have Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard is healthy, I mean, he's not going to play a ton of games in the regular season, but if he's healthy going into the playoffs, the Clippers are a threat to come out of the West. They're a threat. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Norman Powell, once he gets his footing back, he was out a ton of time with injuries. Derrick Jones Jr., high flyer, but he's a defensive player. So you have a situation where you could put length on, Kawhi Leonard with Aaron Gordon. You have length on if I'm I'm Derrick Jones Jr., I can put length on Jamal Murray. So there's going to be a lot of situations where you're saying, all right, who has the better matchup? And 9 times out of 10, that is going to be Nikola Jokic for the Nuggets and James Harden for the Clippers. So which one of those guys is going to have the bigger impact on the game? Both triple-double threats. Both probably going to be pretty efficient in the playoffs. Both of those guys run the offense to perfection. James Harden is in a situation right now where I think he's been quiet for much of the year. I mean, they've had decent amount of success, but nobody's really talking about him as being one of the top PGs. Clippers being one of the top teams in the league. Clippers really being a threat to come out of the West. But he's kept this team afloat even with all the injuries and lineup changes that they had. Kawhi missing time, Norman Powell missing time. You know, all the injuries that they've had, and they're a 5th seed in the Western Conference. I think James Harden's primed for a big series. I don't say that often. I think he's going to have maybe one of those games where he's going off for 6 to 8 threes. Might have another game where he's going off for 12 assists. You know, big game performance. I look forward to seeing him match up well, you know, having the right matchups for the Denver Nuggets. I think they're going to go after MPJ quite a bit. They're going to go after Pickett. They're going to go after, you know, guys that are young, not a whole lot of playoff experience, which is one of the problems that Mike Malone had when he was coaching the Denver Nuggets. Came out that the front office was trading all these vets away or getting rid of these vets or letting them walk so that all these young players would have an opportunity to play, which made absolutely no sense because they did nothing to replenish their bench. And everybody's blaming Westbrook when he's the 7th man on the bench. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but like I said, they are vulnerable. Their bench is vulnerable, and you're putting yourself in a position, if I'm the Clippers, to say, hey, Norman Powell, get your legs under you. You're going to be playing against the bench players for the Denver Nuggets. You can go off and do whatever you want to. Put the ball in his hands, let him create. Denver Nuggets have no defensive response for him. They might have somebody to put on James Harden. If I'm looking at that matchup where I say, who's matched up with Norman Powell? The only way you could possibly protect MPJ is putting him in that matchup. You can't protect him from Harden or Kawhi. Safest bet is Norman Powell, and he's going to cook him. When it comes to the Rockets, if I am the Rockets, I want to face the Memphis Grizzlies. I think that's a given. I don't want to see Steph Curry. I don't want to see Jimmy Butler. I don't want to see Draymond Green in the playoffs. I do not want to see that. Ime Udoka is pushing the buttons. All right, he played a great game against them about a week ago. Locked up Jimmy, locked up Steph. The problem with that is those two individuals specifically don't forget a single thing. In the playoffs, they're going to be locked in. They're going to be locked in 100%, ready to attack anything that's in front of them. Do not be the team in front of them that locked them up a week ago and talked about it in the media. Don't do that. That's not the problems that you want. Steph Curry, he's very comfortable playing in Houston. And it's not the first time somebody's face guarded him, been physical with him. It's not the first time these things have happened. It's definitely a different situation when you consider the fact that the guys on the side of the Houston Rockets have never been there. Never been there. Fred VanVleet, I mean, to some degree, got a championship, but he was a backup point guard in that situation. Hit some big time shots, had some big moments, but he's never been the guy. Sengun, Jalen Green, Thompson, Dylan Brooks. I mean, talented team, very talented, but experience and explosiveness. And I mean, if Steph goes off, it's so different than any other player in NBA history going off, because it feels like an avalanche hits you so quickly, and it's going to be very difficult to recover. Now, I got Golden State winning that 7-8 matchup in the play-in games. I got them playing the Rockets. I think they can get the Rockets. I think they can get Houston. Dallas versus the Kings. I mean, I would say Sacramento, but they're no different than the Miami Heat. I mean, you can say that they're supposed to win a game and they get blown out by 15 to 20 quickly. I mean, I just don't even know what to do with the Kings. I don't even know what to do with Miami. We'll talk about them in a minute. I like Sacramento to win that. Dallas is not at home. Dallas is on the road. Anthony Davis, he doesn't know what his role is. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. I mean, one night, Luka Doncic comes into town. This man has 13 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. For whatever reason, he didn't decide to dominate that game and put up 40 himself. Let Luka walk in, have his swan song, whatever. Cool. Then the next night, he's going to put, 30, 23-point triple-double. Like, what? He doesn't know if he's the guy or not. So, if Anthony Davis knows he's the guy and they play well, Najee Marshall can go off, have himself a game. Dinwiddie can have himself a night. They have a chance probably because, like I said, Sacramento is going to wet the bed at some point. But I think, smart money, put it on the Kings. Sabonis, Levine, DeRozan, for whatever reason, they put Levine and DeRozan back together. Like, that was such a great idea when Chicago did it. And look, you move both of those guys to Sacramento, and the Kings and the Bulls are in the same position. It makes no sense whatsoever. But anyways, Kings definitely have the better team, so they should win that game. Grizzlies will beat the Kings, so it will be OKC versus Memphis. It's going to be an exciting series. But the thing when I look at Memphis, SGA is doing the things that we're consistently hoping that John Morant does. All right, everybody's focusing on the celebration. John Morant had a subpar year, in my opinion, because when he was going crazy a couple years back, everybody was saying that man was probably going to be top 10 in the league. And he ain't been showing that to me. I ain't seen that. So I like OKC in that series. They just got more weapons. They got more continuity. The largest plus-minus spread. No, not plus-minus. Largest point differential by a team in NBA history. Hartenstein, how the Knicks let him walk. Don't even know how they let that happen. Walk right into OKC. Perfect next to Chet Holmgren. Jalen Williams, a monster. The other Jalen Williams doesn't get any minutes. Then he comes out and he averages a triple-double across 5 games. Dort, defensive juggernaut. Alex Caruso, Aaron Wiggins. SGA. It's a number of guys on OKC that can help get the job done on a night-to-night basis. So they overall, I think OKC the best team in the playoffs, top to bottom. Even better than Boston, even better than Cleveland. Cleveland had a phenomenal year, but I like OKC for sure to move on to the next round. I like the conundrum I face with the 4 or 5 in Denver and the Clippers is who's going to stop Kawhi on Denver's side, who's going to stop Joker on the Clippers side, and I just think that Joker is going to have a bigger impact. And this is a must win. Okay. They don't have a choice in this situation. You fire your coach. You were at the time you were 3rd seed. You fire your coach. You have a 3-time MVP. And you guys just won a ring 2 years ago. So it's not like it's been, 6 or 7 years. Y'all just won a championship in 2023. You fired your coach. If I'm Joker, we're not losing this series. So I got the Clippers. I'll say that series goes 6. All right. So right now we got OKC winning. We got Denver Nuggets. We got the Lakers in 5. We got Golden State winning that first round matchup. The 7 seed beating the 2 seed in the Houston Rockets. Moving over to the East. Here's the problem. All right. I want to put faith. in my Miami Heat. Right? It's just impossible. It is impossible at this point to believe that this team is going to get you into the playoffs. So safe bet, 7-8 matchup. I like Orlando more than the Hawks. I like Orlando and Chicago to get into the playoffs in the East. I like Orlando 7 seed matched up with the Boston Celtics. I like the Bulls beating the Hawks and them getting that 8 seed versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Biggest thing with Cleveland is which Donovan Mitchell is going to show up. Are we going to get Donovan Mitchell that can put up 30? Or are we going to get Mitchell that's struggling 6 of 17 from the floor, turning the ball over, not playing any defense? Is Darian Garland going to wet the bed? Is he not going to, remember that, hey, I'm a number 2 option. I need to get a bucket. I can't be out here getting 13 assists and not shooting the ball at all. Are we going to get a dominant defensive performance from Evan Mobley? Defensive Player of the Year favorite up until about a month ago. I mean, these are the type of questions the Cavaliers. I mean, the regular season versus the playoffs. Which ones we gonna get? As of this season, Cavaliers look legit. They look like they're a conference finals threat. So I'll take the Cavs in the first round over the Chicago Bulls. Giddey played great throughout the season. I mean, I love the way he was playing. They cannot lose him. They cannot lose him. If I'm them, I keep him. I keep Lonzo Ball. And the reason why I keep those two specifically is because they're the triple-double threat. Not in the sense of they can average one or anything like that. They do so many good things on the basketball court instinctively, and they get the game going. They get the pace going, and they get everybody involved. Those are the two guys you need to keep. And I'll throw Kobe White into that mix. I think he can be a little bit more efficient. He can get you 20 to 25 every single night. Rightfully so. I'm going to take the Cavaliers because they're the better team overall. 4-5. This is a dangerous matchup if Damian Lillard is healthy. Okay. The problem I have without Damian Lillard being healthy is how much are you going to rely on either Giannis or the rest of the team? Can Kyle Kuzma step into that role? Can Gary Trent Jr. pick up the slack off of the bench? Is Brook Lopez going to be a threat night in and night out? Pat Connaughton, Green, who's going to step up and be that next guy for Giannis? Or is Giannis going to go ballistic? And I mean, when Giannis goes off and he has his back behind, back to the wall type situation, he's going to put up 40, 15, 6 to 10. Those are the type of numbers we're going to see from Giannis in this series. Miles Turner can't guard him. Siakam can't guard him. Nobody on that team has the ability to single-handedly stop Giannis. They're going to form the wall. They form the wall. You open up shots for shooters. Brook Lopez going to be able to shoot the daylights out. They're not coming out there to guard him unless it's Miles Turner. And then again, you take the shot blocker away from the basket. Giannis is going to have a field day. Can they get stops? That's something Milwaukee hasn't been able to do under Doc Rivers. Can they get stops? So, I see that series going 7. Don't know who wins it. I just know it's going 7. Because Halliburton always plays well against Milwaukee, whether Dame is there or not. 3-6 matchup. 3-6 matchup. I got the Pistons. I got the Pistons winning 3-6 matchup versus the New York Knicks. And the reason why, they're built to play any style of basketball you want to play. Any style. Speed game, they can go small, put Stewart at the 5, run. They can play that way. You have athletes. You have Malik Beasley shooting the daylights out, number 2 on the year in 3-point makes. Cade Cunningham, Thompson. I mean, both of the Thompson brothers are freaks of nature, all right? Athletically speaking, ridiculous. So you got defensive guys on that team that can get stops. Tobias Harris can contribute. Surprised. I mean, even the fact that he went back to Detroit, they paid him his money, but surprised that he went back there and made an impact. Tobias Harris was a great pickup for that team. Tim Hardaway Jr., disgruntled in Dallas, said I can contribute, goes to Detroit, does just that. I mean, they can shoot, they can defend, they're athletic, and Jalen Duren's a stud, okay? 13, I'd say 13 to 15 points, gonna get you 10 rebounds, double-double. The matchup problem that I have with the Pistons is Karl Anthony Towns. He's gonna present matchup problems for them. Same way Jalen Brunson, provides matchup problems for everybody, but the problem is Brunson isn't always going to be the most efficient player on the basketball court because of the amount of length that the Pistons have. I would imagine Thompson's going to be on him. I would imagine that. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, they're going to have to step up and, take care of some of the slack offensively. It might be the fact that I live in Southeast Michigan. One time in my life, I'm going to go with the home team. I got the Pistons winning that series in 7. Boston Celtics versus the Orlando Magic. Orlando just doesn't have enough, especially if Jaylen Brown's healthy. He was getting his knee drained the other day, or he had injections in his knee. I got Jaylen Brown, a healthy Jaylen Brown, Pritchard off the bench, Hauser, Horford. KP, Drew, Derek White. I mean, team is stacked. Jason Tatum got the Boston Celtics. And you know what? If it goes 6, I'll be surprised. I got them in 5. Next round. What are the matchups after this round? I would imagine they reseed after the first round. So it would be OKC and Golden State. OKC and Golden State. OKC, Golden State. See, my head wants to say OKC. My heart wants to say Golden State. But I'm going to go with my head on this one. Simply for the fact that OKC provides so many different matchup problems with their bigs. Because Draymond Green is playing the 5. All right, Draymond Green playing the 5. We have to acknowledge the fact that he's going to get out rebounded. That whole front line is going to get out rebounded. Looney's going to have to play more minutes. It's going to be a replay of the Houston Rockets back in the day where get the switch on Looney, spread them out. SGA, have your way. Do what it is you want to do. SGA is going to give you 35 a night. That's a given. He's going to give you 35 a night unless Jimmy Butler's playing dominant defensive basketball. Jalen Williams is going to find out real quick if he's a legit second option. 20 to 25 is the requirement in the regular season. We need at least 24 to 30 in the playoffs next to a SGA because he's going to garner most of the attention. You should have free reigns to do whatever it is you want to do on the basketball court because they're not going to have an answer for you. They're not going to have that answer. Draymond Green is going to be worried about Hartenstein. Chet Holmgren is going to pull whoever it is. They're going to pull them away from the basket. Jalen Green is going to be the wild card in that series. I got OKC in 6. Golden State's going to go down swinging, but I just think OKC's the better team overall. We don't know how healthy Jimmy Butler is, even if he took that bump from Kawhi Leonard. Lakers and Nuggets. This is the one. Okay, this is the one. And Anthony Davis got traded for Luka Doncic. Okay, you couldn't stop the Denver Nuggets when you had arguably the best defender at his position in the league guarding Nikola Jokic. No chance. I think you hadn't beaten him in the regular season or the playoffs in like 2 or 3 years. You had no answer for Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray was hitting game winner after game winner against the Lakers in the playoffs. I just don't know the logic behind the Luka trade, but the only instance it does make sense is in this series because Luka's going to provide LeBron James an opportunity to not be on the basketball, conserve his energy. So now LeBron's going to be able to close games, like literally close games, because that next round, he knows this is a different type of beast that you need to slay. All right, you need to completely and utterly put them out of their misery at this point. I got the Lakers in. That's the only thing, man. If Joker's locked in and he's playing otherworldly, the Nuggets are a different team in the playoffs, especially with a healthy Jamal Murray. We don't know what Russell Westbrook's going to bring to the table. He's going to be highly motivated in that series. Denver in 7. And you got Denver and OKC in the conference finals. I'll go OKC. They might even sweep them. I mean, they have no answer for SGA in that series. Another conference finals for the Denver Nuggets, but they blow that team up in the summer. What is it looking like out east? I got Boston, Detroit, Cleveland, Milwaukee. I think the experience of Cleveland is going to get the better of Detroit. I got Cleveland in that series between Detroit and Cleveland. Boston is going to get the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going to beat the Bucks. So you got Cleveland and Boston in the conference finals. I got Cleveland in 6 games. I think Cleveland's a different team when they play Boston. They completely and utterly changed the way they play basketball. And I'm not talking about in a negative way. They play great versus the Boston Celtics. Donovan Mitchell always plays great versus the Boston Celtics. For whatever reason, him and Jaylen Brown have this budding rivalry between the two each other when those teams face each other. The biggest key to that series is going to be Evan Mobley, not defensively, but offensively. Evan Mobley is going to have to attack whoever his matchup is, because when you think about it, Jaylen Brown, he's probably going to be the guy, you know, that's either going to be on Garland or Donovan Mitchell. You have to have a situation where who's Drew Holiday going to guard, who's Derek White going to guard. Nobody else is going to be matched up with Evan Mobley other than Jason Tatum or Kristaps Porzingis. Evan Mobley is going to have to attack whoever is in front of him. I'm not talking about 15 points. Evan Mobley is going to have to be a defensive stopper in that series. He's also going to have to put up 20 points tonight. Nothing less. Nothing less is going to get them to the NBA Finals. And then ultimately, if they can beat Boston, I like OKC versus the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. And we get the matchup that we should have gotten in 2016. Had the Oklahoma City Thunder sealed the deal, it would have been OKC versus Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. I'm not going to say who my pick is. We're going to wait to do that when we sit down and talk with Tet, the eye test on probably Wednesday that afternoon. But, man, like I said, I got OKC winning the first round. I got Golden State winning their first game versus the Grizzlies and them beating the Houston Rockets. I got the Lakers in 5 versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Got the Nuggets beating the Clippers. I got OKC beating Golden State. I got Denver beating the Lakers. OKC beating Denver going to the finals. I got Cleveland beating the Bulls in the first round. I got Boston beating Orlando in the first round. Detroit takes down the Knicks. Bucks take out the Pacers. I got Cleveland beating the Pistons. Got the Celtics beating the Bucks. I got the Cavs beating the Boston Celtics. Moving on to the NBA Finals, but we'll talk about that pick on Thursday. Like I said, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate anybody that stopped in to watch this video. Greatly appreciate it. Always helps the channel, always helps the numbers. Ultimately, the reason why I do this is because I love the game of basketball, but I appreciate